Well, hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Seven Figure Agency Podcast. We're in a series where we're interviewing highly successful digital marketing agencies and kind of unpacking how they've grown and how they've scaled their businesses. And I could not be more excited today to have Danny Barrera with us from the Seven Figure Agency Group and Concrete Marketing Crew. So welcome to the show, Danny.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's really an honor to be here.
Absolutely. So I guess before we dive in, just kind of tell us a little bit about like where you're at within your agency and kind of a high level overview, number of clients, that type of stuff. Are we cutting out?
Okay, excellent. Yeah. So as of this week, we are at 16 clients, 16 clients. And that put us over $33,000 in monthly recurring revenue.
Nice.
And this is pretty much our first 12 months as a niche agency, right? Prior to having this name right here, Concrete Marketing Crew, I was I picked the niche, but then I was running under the name Contractor SEO Agency. So later, probably after the summer, after August, I made the decision to just shift the name and the branding over the Concrete Marketing Crew and just run under that one name so that I could just bring that consistency and just connection with the marketplace. So that's where I'm at right now.
Fantastic. Well, from brand new niche to over $30,000 a month in recurring revenue. Kudos to you. That's a big feat in and of itself.
Yeah. It's exciting. I'm excited.
So tell us a little bit about your background. So you just tell us how you got into digital marketing and kind of what your background is.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we go back to 2007, I found myself working at a cubicle as an IT analyst for Fox News channels. You guys are probably very familiar with the Fox News network. So working there, you consistently hear of all these success stories every single day. And a lot of them were, more in the tech industry. So I'm listening to this guy's, a new startup here, another startup there, another guy. So one day there comes a guy out of nowhere. He was somewhere from, I don't even remember his name, but he talked about how he created an e-commerce shop. And, in the first year he made over $500,000, something like that. And he sold the store for way, way more than that. And they were interviewing him. So after the interview, I go down to the green room, right? And then the guy's still there, and I just introduced myself. I was so nervous, and I asked him. He's like, "Hey, that sounded very interesting. I'm very interested in learning like how you got started, or what tips can you give me if I want to get started." So he told me, "Hey, look, just find a product, get your license so that you can make some connections within the wholesaling and all that stuff, and then just put up a store and see if you can get traffic to it." Like that was the whole conversation basically. So that was my first ignition, I would say, the first thing that just got me thinking about the internet. So months passed, years passed, spent over $10,000 building up a store that didn't make me one sale. And that was the first thing, right? So here I am, and that time, I married very young. I was probably like 20, 21 when I got married.
Nice.
Spouse wasn't too happy at that time. My co-parent, she wasn't too happy about that. But I decided to keep going. So anyways, I made a connection with a local fragrance store owner, which was a wholesaler. And this guy, I knew he sold nationwide, meaning people came to him to buy the product. And then we put up a store, we start making money. I start finally figuring out how things really work on the internet. You get traffic, you have a product, people buy, period, in essence. So, months pass by, the guy, pays me a few $1,000s off of that, and then, I'm out. So what am I doing right now? I'm talking to my friends, to my brother. Hey, look. And then, of course, during that time, you get into one email list, and then you're all of a sudden getting 1,000 emails about, going offline and all this stuff. So that's the thing. It's from there, it was just, a never ending roller coaster of, making money here as an affiliate, not making money, trying to do the offline stuff, WSOs. I mean, you name it. I probably, wasted a lot of money. And I tried a lot of money, just tried to put money into things that didn't really realize. And that led me into about 2010, decided to finally go all in into my agency, as far as, go all in and then start building a digital agency, which I realized is not easy at all. It's not easy at all. Like, everyone paints this thing that you can become a digital marketer, laptop lifestyle. It doesn't work that way. So, months passed by again. And at that time I quit my job, right? The Fox News. It was very comfortable. They offered me a management company, amazing benefits, a great company to work for. I learned a ton from there, but I went from stability to complete instability, and that was probably the best personal development training that I got, because you're faced with uncertainty every single day, and soon enough I got my car repossessed a couple of times. Lights were off way more than 3 times. And then, I found myself going into a really, really, really nasty situation. And then that ended up in divorce. That ended up, just everything fell apart for me, like right in front of me. And here I am, best intentions at heart. During that time, I became very, very good at SEO. Like, that was the one thing that I could tell you. I could grab any site and just get it up there without, any hesitation. So found myself there. And then, that was about 2 years ago, something like that, somewhere around there. And then came across your information, Josh. And, somewhere about a year ago or so, I made the commitment to go all in and just, do this thing the right way. This is not a game. This is not, let me see if it works or not for me. It's not like that for me, because it hasn't been easy. And I made the commitment to finally, it's either going to be this thing, it's going to work, or that's it. I could just build an offline business and just build a real business, brick and mortar, and do what I know how to do best. So I was at that crossroads at that time. A few times I shared this with the group. Sometimes I found myself at one point sleeping on my friend's couch, a couple of nights, like me sleeping at my car, really with uncertainty. And I had a few clients here and there, but by the time you pay child support, by the time you got to pay this, by the time you got to do that, there's nothing left. So when you're in those situations, I mean, you're faced with either, the willingness and just the desire to just push through and just make it happen, or that's pretty much where you see a lot of people just, settle in and say, call it a day. And I just, I'm not going to give up. I don't give up, So that really, that's a big motivator for me, just to keep going and stuff like that. So that's why I'm excited, I have a lot of things that I discuss as far as disadvantages in the industry as a whole, but those things get me fired up. Like that puts a lot of fire under my ass, and yeah, so that is my background. That is Danny Barrera. That is Daniel Barrera as a whole. Tons of failures, more failures than any type of success. And believe it or not, that gives me the confidence when I talk to someone on the phone, knowing how much I've been through, knowing what the dark times look like, knowing what the good times look like, knowing that I've invested in myself heavily. And I've invested in myself more than anything. And I'm glad that that things are moving the right direction. And not everything is rainbows and stuff, but you know, it's way better than what it was for me a couple of years ago, not too long ago. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, congratulations on the grit. You know what I mean? It's not easy when things aren't going well and you can hardly pay the bills and you don't know where your next payment's going to come from. And you stuck with it. You made the transition. You've got a great agency, which I believe is just on the brink of even bigger things, right? It's really just getting started. How did you make that transition from the, like you said, the Warrior Forum stuff and the affiliate stuff to really committing to an agency and getting consistent? Because you're so focused on sales and business development, and you do the work and you make the calls, like unlike most of the people I interact with. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. 100%. So let's go back about 3 years ago. Okay. That was the darkest time of my life. And at that point in time, look, I love Grant Cardone. I mean, I have all his stuff everywhere. 10X book, you know, philosophy, you talk about it. Everything around me is about positivity, everything. Because everything else outside of this will most likely be a challenge. And if you don't keep yourself in a passive state of mind, you know, you're going to start to focus on the negative. And when that focus is negative, everything else becomes negative. So going back to the transition, at that time, you know, I was taking sales training. I took, you know, the Cardone University and all this stuff. I went heavy, you know, making 100 calls or so a day on average. So you know, at that time, I was making calls and I was not getting results. And here I am listening to all the success stories from Grant. And I'm saying to myself, man, what are these people doing that I'm not doing? You know, it's something is not there. Something is missing, you know? So here I am just trying to work things out and reverse engineer some of the biggest companies out there. What they do, they have a sales team, they have a sales process, a pitch deck, and they just do that consistently, right? The thing that I want to get to is I realize, man, you know, I don't have focus. I don't have that one thing that I will stay consistent with, because those times where the WSO, and I'm just going to, do you mind if I just talk about my personal experience? This is my personal experience. Like, you know, I bought all the David Sprague courses back in the day. You know, it's nothing wrong with this guy. It's legit. You know, I love his stuff. But all that stuff, I tried it. I tried doing the videos for free. I tried doing all this stuff, you know, let me get you in for free and then, you know, upsell you at some other time. It did not work for me. It just wasn't my cup of tea. So I was doing all this stuff, Josh, to the point that I was just like, what's going on? Like, seriously, you know? And the success that I got, you know, it was here. It was very short-lived. That's the key word, short-lived success, where you get one client here paying you $200 a month and $500. You still got to pay all this stuff to make a living. Mm-hmm. By the time you deliver, that's not a business. So, right. So I was just sick and tired of, like, you know, this is it, to me, it all sounded like BS. So that's when I realized, hey, look, at some point in time, I'm just about to give up. And I saw your Facebook ad, and then I knew you from the prior year of me building Contractor SEO agency. That had been about my main focus prior to meeting you. That had been my, you know, focusing on doing SEO for contractors as a whole, which is not a niche. That is not a niche. That is, you know, segment of the market, right? Of the market, but it's not a niche. And even at that, I was getting some clients here and there, you know, doing all this stuff, but it wasn't consistent. So that led me to me seeing your Facebook ad, and I knew you because I had, you know, seen your websites, and, you know, I studied your stuff as far as, you know, the SEO stuff that you've done for your site, and I mean, it's amazing. It's well put together. I love your stuff. So I immediately connected, and that led me to me enrolling and then deciding to just, you know what, this is a legit dude. I mean, I've actually spent a lot of time researching your stuff as far as, you know, more of the technical SEO side, like how you structure your websites and stuff like that. And I knew you were legit. So after that, I made a commitment. Whatever I do moving forward, I do not consume any information from anyone that hasn't or isn't doing it themselves actively. Actively. I do not consume, like, that was the thing that, like you're saying, the switch about, from WSOs to now, I do not consume information from anyone. I don't care what they're driving. I don't care how they look or anything like that. I don't consume information from anyone that is not doing it themselves proactively, and they're not showing it. They're not willing to show it and be transparent about what's, what's being taught, because this industry is just, I mean, you know how it is. It can be very deceiving, and a lot of people getting burned. So that is when I made the decision to commit. And I said, man, I've tried so much that I gave up, like, my old belief systems, whatever else I had, empty my cup. And I just, just like this, empty. You pour it, you tell me what to do, I execute. So that's it. Does that make sense?
No, that's awesome, man. And I think it's awesome that you started with mindset, right? This whole, studying Grant Cardone, studying people that were all mindset. Really, the fact is your mindset is what's going to drive your behavior. And if you don't get that piece right, nothing else is gonna go the way that it should. And then it was figuring out the right skill set and really making sure you were learning from people actually implementing and actually doing, as opposed to just people that looked sexy or looked cool and were claiming big claims, but weren't actually doing it, living it day to day. So some powerful insights there in terms of how you made that mind shift from chasing the shiny object to actually getting down dirty, doing the work and landing the clients. So let's talk about the niche. So you mentioned you were contractor SEO marketing. And, that's a little bit broad, and kind of what you were experiencing was, while you were in a niche, it didn't really resonate with, anybody. How did you make this transition to Concrete Marketing Crew, which is like a micro niche within the niche, right?
Right. I jumped on a Wednesday call. I think it was my first call that I jumped on, and Jeff is there, and Jeff is going one by one. And by the way, anyone that's watching this, if you are having problems and you're not clear of where you're at or where you need to go, or what needs to happen next, get yourself into a Wednesday call, and that call should be packed. I mean, if you don't have at least 5 niche clients in your book of business right now, you're wasting your money and you're wasting your time, period. Because it's all like, I just don't get it. I've spent so much money getting the wrong information. And, it drives me nuts to see a lot of people that they struggle because they let their ego be bigger than anything else. So for me, it was like, I told you, empty cup. I showed up to the Wednesday call and I asked my question. I've been in business for so long. I've been doing this, and I was frustrated. I'm like, I just need help picking a niche. This is about niching down. So, he says, why don't you try, and he mentioned something about concrete, I think concrete decks, something like that, concrete decks. And that was what ignited, my thing. And I had experience working with contractors, a couple of concrete guys that I've done business with. And I'm like, okay, that's an easy industry, never thought of that, So that was it. That was it. I just went in and then committed to just, focusing on that, not knowing what else was going to be on my path to really start, gaining traction. And then, that led me into niching down. I kept my contractor SEO agency name. So every effort that I did as far as outreach, contacting people, and just going out there, it was under that name, Contractor SEO Agency. And what I did immediately that same day, I told Jeff, okay, I'm just going to rank the website for that. That same day, he told me, hey, look, you're probably going to have a hard time. I'm like, no, I could probably do it, So I went and did it. Within 3 weeks, it was number 1, number 2, or whatever for concrete marketing terms. And that's what I did, and I just started telling people, hey, we are the number 1 SEO company for concrete companies. That's it. Like, that was one of the things that I utilized. And we all need to find those things, those little things that can set us apart, because the market is saturated with marketing companies wherever you go. So for me, I find things that I've done or that I can manipulate, if you want to call it that, right? Like rankings, so that I can leverage that, use that as leverage during my sales conversations. And I just started focusing on that. That website, got me. I mean, those conversations were emails, phone calls, and those got me to my first 5 clients and beyond. At some point, I realized, you know what? If I want to do these webinars, if I really want to do the rest of the stuff that's really in the course, I need to brand. I need to build a brand, and just and that's when I asked right in the group. You can go back and search, search that. And the thing is this, guys. I was trying to make Contractor SEO Agency a concrete brand, and I tried different logos. A lot of you guys didn't like the logo ideas I put there. So after that, I'm like, okay, whatever, after this, I'm just going to go and build a new brand from scratch. And that's what happened. I took your feedback, and I just implement. Like, I just like to implement stuff and see what it does for me. Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
I implemented. Yeah.
So a couple like salient points, right? If you're part of the 7-figure agency, we have these weekly coaching calls. Jeff is there. He's got great insights. He will help kind of answer your questions and move you in the right direction. If you're not on the Wednesday coaching call, it's every Wednesday at 2:00. Shame on you. Like, you should be there. A lot of people that are on those calls have gotten breakthroughs that help to move them to the next level. So don't miss that. And then, you just committed, right? You didn't fight it. You decided that Contractors was too broad, and you focused on concrete. Can you just elaborate a little bit what that actually means? So that's decorative concrete installation.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Perfect. So concrete. Okay. This is the one thing you're going to hear on this call that's nowhere else, probably. Concrete as an industry. And Josh, if you've been in business and you try to reach out to concrete companies, they will say, we don't need you. We don't depend on you. We don't need you guys. Like, we don't need internet marketing. We don't need SEO. And that's right. They don't. The big concrete companies, the big ready mix companies, they don't. They have a different type of relationship with their client base and the way that they flow their business. So what I mean by that is these companies have large government jobs. That's where they get the majority of their business. 90%, maybe more, of their business is by all these bidding systems that they have in the construction industry, because all the legalities, permits, etc. And by default, I guess the way it works, the big construction companies and concrete companies, they go and bid for these large jobs. And I tell you, in Miami, I was looking at the bidding board. It's $17 million for this, $25 million for that. So what type of company is going to want to go out there and look for SEO or internet marketing when they're landing all this multi-million-dollar jobs all from, the board? So point I'm trying to make is my very first attempt, like the first couple of weeks, the first 1 or 2 weeks, that's when I discovered, okay, I should stay away from those companies that are just, dependent on those type of government jobs, and then shift over to the residential concrete contractors. They do flat work. They do the curbs, stamp concrete. And that's the thing is you're going to find is that these guys if they're residential concrete guys, they're going to do that one application. Plus they're going to offer something about decorative concrete. Yeah. Because some people like to make things pretty, make things look pretty, the concrete stuff. So you see the driveways, right? The stamp concrete. Some of these guys do pavers, the pool decks, right? All that stuff is concrete. So those are my clients. So I call them the residential concrete guys, but it did take some time trying to figure out and perfect that one to the point that I could resonate with them and like be clear. I'm still learning though. But that was my how I arrived to that. If that answered your question.
No, that's perfect, and I think it's really important. I'd like to unpack a little bit the kind of the mental shift between contractor or home services. Really, you think home services is a niche or contractor SEO is a niche, and I fell into the same trap. We wrote the complete guide to internet marketing for contractors, thinking we could serve plumbing, roofing, air conditioning, siding, anything that falls into that group. And I did content. I had a book. I was doing webinars for it. If you look it up, I have like 20 videos. And I probably got a handful of clients ever from that approach. And that was kind of what you experienced. And so I guess, how was it different when you went from being in a broad category like that to being in a very specific niche where you can speak the language and really be speaking to a very specific group that would self-identify, like concrete contractors, as, yeah, this guy is for me.
Night and day. Okay. That leads into the connecting, building the connections with these people, where now I could tell them, hey, do you guys handle stamped concrete? That's a yes or no question, right? Do you guys handle stamped concrete? That one thing versus, are you a concrete contractor? Big difference, night and day. People need to understand this. It's even with plumbing, you can ask even more specific questions about plumbing or HVACs, right? Are you an HVAC contractor, or versus do you install XYZ type of piece of whatever, right? Does that make sense? So the language gets clear, and then you can start building value based on that, because people realize, oh shit, this guy really understands what we do here. And I'll tell you this, the one thing that helps you differentiate is the assets that you have, that you're building out for yourself in the industry. That will help you. And people are not going to read it, but the fact that you have them there, it's going to make you look like you know everything, right?
Yep.
So the webinars, the keywords lists, etc., and leveraging that's going to help you position yourself even bigger as a player, because no other agency out there will most likely be doing the very same thing. And if they are, there's so many people that out there that need our help, seriously. So that was a big difference for me.
Good stuff. So we went from struggle to clarity on a niche to, all right, now let's go after it. Let's go get some clients in that niche. And now we've got about $30,000+ per month and growing on a consistent basis. Let's talk a little bit about what you do for these guys. Like, what does the service mix look like? That's a question we all often get. Like, what is it that you actually provide to these contractors?
Right. So and this is something that I with your help, I got clearer on, because prior to this, I wanted to do everything under the sun for these guys, and you can really complicate things. And what I found out is the people that are succeeding in this business, they are simplifying it, but they're simplifying it, yet that simplification allows them to maximize results. You see that? Anyone you talk to, right? Like that guy that does fitness marketing, like you saw the TNC conference, Mike
Arch, yeah.
Right? Just focus on one thing and that's it. Now, for us here, for this business model, guys, this one business model right here, this is about their online presence, online marketing presence. It took me some time to wrap my head around that this is what we do. This is what we do. And now it's our job to really work it with our, understanding of the industry, et cetera, so that we can position ourselves so that they want that stuff. So what I mean by that is the services. Okay, pay-per-click, everyone understands what that is. It's very, very straightforward. Pay-per-click, right? For my specific industry, you will find that certain areas within the United States don't have search volumes. You go to the keyword planner, you can look up every decorative or epoxy flooring, which is a concrete coating within the concrete, right? A lot of these guys, decorative concrete contractors, they do that and they want those type of jobs. So what we do is we offer the Facebook ads on that, right? That's the only way I deviate from like the main web presence is the Facebook ads. And then that leads me into the next stage, right? So pay-per-click standalone package, that's $750. And then the SEO starts at $1,500. Search engine optimization, and that includes their social media branding as well, because that nowadays that goes hand in hand. So that's content with the website, ranking their online properties, ranking their Google My Business listing. I used to do it where I sell the GMB by itself, the Google My Business by itself.
All a la carte little stuff, right?
Right. And that doesn't work. When you want to scale, you just can't. You're not making money. You can't help them. You get upset. So simplifying the packages, PPC, SEO, and then the SEO plus PPC, right? And something I just started implementing after the what do you call it? The live event.
The intensive,
intensive. the way Brian has it. Brian, what is it? Marketing mechanic.
Brian Stearman.
Brian Stearman. Big shout out to him. Big man. Is get them to get a new website with you. You know that's something that I just started doing it. So the first month, because the SEO really the first month, the way it works, if you really think about it, the way it works, if you're getting a new website built out, the first month, not much is really going to happen. Nothing magical, like, not much. So I'd rather get them the machine built out the right way, the way I know will be absolutely perfect for them. That's going to get them the results. And then second months, and so forth, it's the takeoff. So the first month is build out a new website, right? Implementing that. We do make a few minor changes. So whatever else we can do as far as citations, optimizing Google My Business, they will see some traction there. And then obviously the pay-per-click campaign, which that launches, within I think we're doing it within 2 weeks. So the first week is onboarding. Then the second week or so, is the launch. And that's basically it,
Awesome. I think it's great, you made this transition and you kind of made a point of it now twice. This transition from a la carte services where you were doing just a GMB, hoping that would turn into something where they'd want to pay you more. Experience was you'd sell a lot of those little guys and it never really did snowball. And then just moving in with a package, okay, here's what's actually going to get you a result. Website, SEO, pay-per-click advertising, it's a larger monthly fee, which is more significant for you, but it also has the higher probability of having an impact for the client over a 3 to 6 month time horizon. Has really been a critical distinction. It sounds like you must be in at least the $2,000, $2,500 a month average because you've got 16 clients and you're over 30,000 a monthly recurring.
Somewhere around there, yes. 2,100 and plus 22. I didn't do the math today because the numbers just crossed 33,000, but it would be somewhere around that. Nice. If you average it, yes.
So Nicholas is asking, so do you build and rebuild websites? And it sounds like you've already answered that as an affirmative.
Yes. It's if they're your clients and they're local clients now, Nicholas, if it's Nicholas, I know it's I don't know if it's for your industry, because like my industry, for example, it's local concrete residential concrete contractors that do decorative concrete work. It's that's their machine. So if you're a niche down agency and you work for corporate and all this stuff, it's you're getting into different type of game. So but for me, yes, that would be a yes.
Awesome. So I mean that helps. Now, guys, you get an idea of what his niche is. You get an idea of how he's packaged it and systematized it. So let's transition to how you're landing clients, and we'll talk a little bit about what you're doing now. But I want to start with like when you were just getting landed on this niche and you're just getting things off the ground. What were the plays that worked well to help you get those first 5 or so clients?
Yeah, so there is this one thing called Gmail. Gmail. And then there's another thing that everyone has pretty much is a smartphone. So I'm just joking there. So that's the other thing is I think people just complicate the heck out of things and try to get too fancy before you even start, walking. So for me personally, I just went back to what I know. I can just turn on right now, right at this moment. If I have to start from zero, just get a clean list, of people that you want to work with, and then reach out to them. And don't reach out to them with a 20 paragraph email. I found your competitor XYZ. No. It's all about them. It's all about them. And do your research. Every tool out there is pretty much, everything you need could be for free. You could do it for free on a free platform. But that's it. Like my messaging was somewhere around there. And the way I reach out to them, hey, can you handle an extra, whatever amount of stamped concrete jobs or epoxy flooring jobs, or do you handle epoxy flooring in whatever, Mineola or, Linden, New Jersey, or do you handle anything outside of Linden, New Jersey, right? Those type of messages get you right through. They get you right through and they get a response. Now, when people respond, it's game time. it's game time. It's not about contemplating how fancy am I going to get with the reply and, tell them, no, it's about picking up the phone. And usually what happens if you email the business, when they reply, you see the actual name of the person. So people say, how do I find the decision maker's name? Well, email allows you to do that in an easy way. Now, if you want to get fancy now, just got to Google the company name and put owner right there and go to LinkedIn, right? And you could probably find maybe about 70% of the time we can find someone's real name as far as the owner, vice president, or whatever by referring to LinkedIn. So back then it was that email. When they reply, I see their name. Hey, John, this is Danny. I just sent you an email about blah, blah, blah. Okay, excellent. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. When they were interested, so like when we're on a call, first thing is the AIDA formula, right? Attention, interest. I got your attention, yes. If I don't have their attention, okay, you know what? I'll call you right back. Bam. That's it. If you don't have their attention, you're not going to get their interest. First is get their attention, right? Get their interest, number 2, right? And the desire, and then the action, right? Did I miss anything? I think that's it. The desire. Yeah, so what I do is I specialize in doing XYZ. By the way, I did this for XYZ company, and I just want to show you exactly what we did for them that's getting them XYZ result, okay? And then right after that, yeah, take action. All we need to do is jump on a 15-minute call, and then you can see exactly how our plan works. So simple. Get them on a call. If they hear from you, the first time called, I think only about 10 to 30%, somewhere around there, will actually show up to the call. So that's the follow-up game. That's when it's just, like I said, it's game time. You got to stay in the game. You got to stay in the game to win. So that was the very first focus. When I launched, I just started executing, got the Info USA list, and things just started building from there. And that was outreach. Yeah.
So, I think it sounds fair to say your first 5 clients came from cold outreach and proactive follow-up, proactive making phone calls, sending PMs, sending direct messages, sending emails, following up aggressively. And, you guys all know in the members area and the how to land clients with cold outreach, Danny has shared his whole swipe and deploy, like what he sends, how he sends it, what his call script was. And so know that that's there for you, and it's a great resource. I thought it was funny. You said the first thing is get a list and then start reaching out. But you made an emphasis on clean list. Get a clean list. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like what you mean by getting a clean
list? It's the people you feel like you want to work with. For me, it could be revenue wise. Right off the get-go, I did not get Info USA the first week. The first 2 weeks, I think I didn't have that. But Info USA is probably going to give you a good 70%, as far as, what you're looking for. And even with that, you still got to clean that up. You still got to clean that up to the point that you have the right information. It's the right type of business you want to be working with, because it's not their fault. Like I see a lot of people, bashing Info USA and all this stuff. Look, I've gotten, I don't know, 6 figures from deals that came from Info USA. So I'm talking from experience. I'm not talking from what I feel or what I heard or what, no. So the thing is, you got to refine the results, and that takes time. In the beginning, you got to do it yourself. And then once you're able to hire a VA or someone that can, clean up the data, then that's what they do. That's what they do. So now, right now, as of now, whenever we get a list, we need to include their Instagram, their LinkedIn, the decision makers right there. And then what else? And their Facebook, if we can find their personal Facebook, and then the business Facebook page. Those are 4 additional fields that need to be included on top of, the revenue figures, locations, et cetera, and all this stuff. Does that make sense?
No, I think that's a powerful insight that nobody talks about. The list is what you used to need was a name, address, phone number, and maybe an email, and that was it. Now you just listed the other 4 fields you want to make sure you capture. How do you get that? Is it you need a VA to scrape that information and look and find it? Or?
Yeah. If you don't, if you're just getting started and you don't have clients, you do it yourself. And if you don't have money to buy a list, You go to the second page of Google and the third page of Google, and you know those guys have tried to do something with SEO, either themselves or they hired someone. That's for a fact. Second page or even bottom of first page, because my niche is low search volume, very low search volume. So these guys in the bottom of first, they kind of know it works, but they haven't gotten anything back from it really to justify. So that's what I would do is the first day after, I just went, did a few searches, just looked stuff up and then compiled that by hand right there, Google Sheets. And that's it. So now it's a different process, get the list and do all this other stuff. So that's important because at any point in time, if you have targets, the Dream 100, the Dream 10, they will reach out to you or you will reach out to them. And that's already happening. So this stuff works, guys. This stuff really works.
Awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of great insights here. Thank you for sharing this stuff. This is great. And yeah, that like the actual emails he sends, PMs he sends, the messages he sends on LinkedIn, he was nice enough to share that for members in the.
I just want to also make it clear. I've also paid people to help me with this stuff. I didn't make it up out of the blue.
Right.
So I'm saving you literally thousands of dollars when you look at that stuff up. You don't owe me anything. I'm really doing it, because I'm very grateful for this group and what Josh has done for me. Jeff, unbelievable community, and you guys too. It's the way you guys help me out, so this is my way of giving back, to you guys.
Good stuff. The only point I want to make on this is that the thing that you do different than most people when it comes to cold outreach that makes it work for you and not probably make it work for others is that a lot of people think they scrape the list or they get the clean list, however they get it, through Lead Kahuna or whatever platform they use, and then they set up the emails and they get it so the emails are going out, and they think that's the end of their job, right? They think that magically these leads are just going to start to trickle in and they're going to literally kind of fall down on a plate and say, oh, take my money. But what you do is much different. It's not just send an email. It's to send the email and aggressively follow up on the phone and try and have business conversations and use the idea method to really capture their attention and get them to do something next. I want to just make sure that we hammered home the concept. It's not just send cold emails. It's send cold emails and aggressively follow up with the opens, with the replies, and keep at it day after day, week after week, month after month.
Yeah, you will get to a point where you're Josh or Brian Stearman or any of the big players, in the seven-figure agency. You will get to that point. I will get to that point, to the point where they're coming to me already predisposed. They've seen me everywhere. They heard all the results, but I am not at that point. And I think I see a lot of stuff where people think that you get the ebook going, the cheat sheet going, and all of a sudden you're going to be, good to go. And that's it. People are going to come to you. And even with the webinars, I tell you, it's a real struggle, because you got to build your brand name. You got to build your presence. And if people don't know you, I mean, how many ads you see on Facebook right now going for your attention? Like, we have to understand that as agency owners. As consumers, those guys are seeing hundreds of different ads. And if they're seeing you so that, you can take their money, they don't see any value, it's a process. We have to respect that. So I always like to add value in whatever way I can. And going with the way we're doing the outreach now, it's more strategic, where when I first started, first 5 clients, it was let's go all in to war right there and just brute force, right? And that works, but that takes an immense amount of energy. Now, I'm all about work. Like, I don't think anyone in here, I can say that confidently, can outwork me. That's the way I feel about myself. That's the way I am, and I respect everyone here, though. But that's the way I am, right? So I don't expect everyone to be like that. But what I'm trying to make to is, like, now working strategically, we're looking at their Instagram business profiles. We're commenting, we're liking, we're engaging with them. And by the time, they receive an email from me or they seen some form of confirmation information from me, I'm connected with them on LinkedIn. I'm connected with them on Instagram. They know my brand name. They know who I am. The way the calls goes, it's way different. It's way warmer. They know who I am. It's a big difference. And that takes a lot of work. That's like Gary Vee stuff right there. It takes a lot of work too. It takes a lot of work, guys. But, that's what I'm saying. And imagine the impact I will have, in the next 12 months when I build my brand, build my connections. I have all these assets deployed. That's why I'm excited about this, because, the way things are going now. So the big difference between the beginning, it was just, straight up brute force. Now it's more strategic. I want them to realize. And then it gets to a point where they will see my ads and they will be warmer to that name, more perceptive. And now with the trade shows, Jesus, man, I mean, the sky is the limit, really, the way things are going, seriously.
Yeah, that's exciting, because now, like you said, you do have some great assets. You've got the niche website all built out. You've got the lead magnet, like with a little bit of a funnel built out, correct? Or are you still working on that?
The what? Repeat that again.
The lead magnet with like an opt-in funnel. Yeah,
that's working. So the way I do it, okay, LinkedIn, it's an amazing tool for that. So you have your prospects and you ask them, you have those conversations where you like their stuff, you comment on their stuff, and then eventually say, hey, I realize you're in this space. By the way, I put together, and then I don't do lead capture. I do more of a send out that way.
You let them ask for it. You let them ask for it.
Right. And the same thing goes with Instagram. People ask me for information. Hey, by the way, I put together. So I do have those assets, but I'm not marketing them like other people are, it's also a great thing. I'm not saying it's not bad. It's just the way I'm doing it. So
sure.
Yeah.
And then, so let's talk about this event, because I think this is going to be a big game changer for you in terms of the amount of clients that you land in 2019. Just talk a little bit about this trade show you were at, how you found it, why you decided to go for it. Let's just unpack that a little bit.
Okay, so there are two events. One that happened in January. This is the World of Concrete. It's the biggest concrete conference in the United States. Over 65,000 people attend that event. It's massive. So for that event, I ran a Facebook ad campaign to that event, targeting, owners, etc. That one, I had success getting leads. Okay. I got one client. I spent over $500, but I got one client out of that $500 ad spend. Plus, nice. I have that pocket of leads. I think it was 112 leads that I got altogether, nice. Real leads. They gave me their name, email, phone number, and website.
In your niche, of your ideal clients.
The majority. Yeah, okay. And then you have those hybrid construction companies that do that stuff. So, but yes, just to be frank here. Okay, so that works. So I know that works. Then fast forward. I'm in one of these Facebook groups that I'm part of, because Josh recommended go and find your niche Facebook groups. And if you're in any type of trade business, you will find that there are quite a few. In my industry, at least about 10. And I can't even keep up. I just pop in there here and there. Anyways, I see this guy posted this Northeastern Expo. It's for free to attend, etc. And then I just went in there, and then I noticed, okay, this is a good date for me. And then that's it. I signed up right away. And that's it. I just got things started right from the get-go. What happened, I got your guys' feedback on it, right? You can go back to the Facebook group. I'm pretty much engaging there all the time. And you notice I don't know everything. So here I am. I sign up. I'm like, Jesus, where should I pick my spot? Right? Remember that conversation? I don't know where to pick my spot. I don't know what to do. What should I have? This and that. So you guys are very graceful with your information. So you all help me out. Put from the marketing materials, getting feedback on what should be presented to people. I appreciate you all for that. And, ordered that, got it through the door. Antonio was a big help for me putting the backdrop and stuff. And that was very last minute, because my.
And it looked great. Antonio, kudos. Nicely done.
Yeah. He helped me out. Big shout out to him. Josh Wheeler also helped me out big time. Offer his advice and stuff like that. And the thing is, I didn't get approved for the wholesale account. One of those print, whatever they asked me for, some stuff, and I just, I never got it. So, Antonio helped me out with that. So Ordered that, showed up at the event. I watched a couple of YouTube videos about, you know, how to get people engaged and all the stuff. I asked for your advice, and I tried to see what would best fit my own industry, because everyone's industry is different. You know what I'm saying? So you know, from what I said, okay, you know, the first day it's going to be a cold audience. It's not going to be, you know, it's not going to be repeat. So the first day we just want to engage them as much as possible, get them to come in, get them to shake hands, etc., get them to get stuff from us. And then the second day we're just, you know, warming up. So first day we had the roulette giving stuff away. We gave, some people got this stuff, other people got the Grant Cardone bands. And the thing is, I had put in their Facebook ads, Google My Business Optimization. No one liked that. Whenever people got that, they were all like, oh, God. So anyways, point I'm trying to make is you know, if you're going to use that type of stuff, you know, just, you know, if the next event, I will not give away any of the stuff that we do, because a lot of times that doesn't interest them. So that is same thing. AIDA formula: attention, get them interested. They give you their attention. You got to ask them questions. And, you know, I mentioned about, you know, me, people weren't engaging with me. So I sent my partner, Maddie, out to the trenches, to the front. I'm like, okay, greet them right there. Step out, say hi, spin the wheel. As soon as they spin the wheel, excellent. Hey, are you the business owner? Right? Ask them questions. You got their attention. Now get their interest. Okay, awesome. Do you have a website? Is your website showing up on Google? Well, if they say yes, okay, excellent, perfect. And then, you know, just get the conversation started, and then people see the big thing on the back. Oh, we get your leads. Are you guys home advisor? No, we're not. You know, we're the anti-home advisor company. We actually want to help you build your business and your brand online so that you don't have to rely on those sources, right? So that was our angle. The next thing is we try to make it look like we're a family, the modern mom and pop shop for these guys, because that's my niche, my industry. So those are little things that we adapted to the thing that led us to have, I tell you, you know, look at this, you know, this is my warm leads list.
Nice.
People that want stuff. By the way, I got 2 clients off of that already. And these are the other people that, Jesus, this is the hot leads list. You know?
Congratulations, man.
It's
That's
another
awesome.
one.
Two
Right.
out of the gates and a lot on the deck. That's amazing.
A lot on the deck, guys. A lot on the deck. So it's about same formula: attention, interest, desire, and get them to take action. And the action is like, hey, would you like to have a free, would you mind if we get in touch with you at some point in the future regarding, you know, building your online presence? And they're going to say yes. A lot of people are going to say, no, we're good. That's cool. It's whether we do business or not, I'm here to help you anyway. So, you know, I have no attachment if they say no to me in my face. So that's it. So that's it. That was the outcome of this event. From what I've gathered is definitely, you know, I got a lot of feedback. I wrote down a lot of notes of what I've noticed. And yeah, we just want to get people's attention at the end of the day. You know, we can move forward to that next phase.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what's interesting is that going to an event like that in the absence of a niche is kind of a waste of time, right? I mean, until you're clear on concrete, you know, we're focused on concrete contractors. Now we can set up a concrete specific website. We can start doing cold outreach that's interesting to these guys and get them to raise their hands. And all of the other marketing avenues really open up to you, like joining at trade shows and events, publishing a book for that trade, speaking at those events in the future, which is why I believe, Danny, yes, you're doing great. I'm super excited for you where you're at today, and I can't wait to see where you're going to be at 12 months, 24 months from now, because I just believe it's really going to snowball for you going forward. Absolutely.
I've gotten some people reach out to me, about what I do from like competitors that they're trying to get the audience attention, like that specific niche. And the same question I keep getting is, why concrete? Why concrete? Now I'm going to share this with you, and this is complete legit. So my father is a hybrid of a builder and an architect. And I'm from El Salvador. I came to the United States back in 98. So I am an immigrant. But my father built in my country anywhere from the airport, the national airport, to different shopping centers, malls, constructions. I mean, you know, the times that I got to spend with my father, the very few times that I get to spend with him, was seeing him in action. Mm-hmm. Now, my father is a doer. My father is a builder, you know, and watching my dad lead these projects from the beginning, I could talk to these guys and they always ask me, hey, what got you interested in concrete? And I bring that story up. You know, that gives me that connection where I'm like, as a little kid, I always watch my father, and that's legit, you know. Like, my father polished the concrete floors of the national airport in El Salvador. That's a true story. My brother was there with him, right? So that gives me that connection. So that affinity that you start building with people leads into conversations. And the more that you do it, the more that you get involved, you're going to see that there's stuff that you've done in the past that you kind of have done, maybe your spouse has done, or something that you can grab to that you can utilize into this thing. Because I was in a call with Lynn, and this is a product manufacturer of our industry in concrete. And, you know, maybe on our mastermind call, I'll bring Lynn to explain. The guy's like, what got you interested into concrete? I brought that story up. It's the main thing that, you know, I said, and now I bring my background in the digital and help you guys out, you know, and really that's the thing. So the more that you expose yourself to this, you're going to understand your industry better. And the more that you can start building those, how you relate to them and those relationships also. Super important. Super important. Yeah.
Great connection to the backstory and the why you're in the space.
Yeah.
So now we can transition a little bit to, and we're kind of getting short on time, but we want to hear questions.
Okay.
Got a great group with us live. In terms of fulfillment, right? In terms of actually getting the work done for the clients, Nicholas is asking, do you do it all yourself? Are you outsourcing it? Have you built a team? Can you talk a little bit about that? And then we'll open up for some questions. So start putting them in the question box, guys.
That has been where the mastermind has been instrumental, 1000%. The mastermind has been instrumental to me because you will hit a certain point where landing clients is not an issue. Landing clients will not be an issue at some point. And it will happen when you start applying yourselves. The problem will be, how do I handle more of the clients? Like, even right now, I'm maxed out. I am maxed out. You know, I'm like, my cup is overflowing right now, which is a good thing. It's a good problem to have. But how do you keep the quality and all this stuff? And, you know, I am at that phase. That's what I'm going to share with you. I am at that phase. And thankfully, I have the best in the industry helping me put together those systems and processes. So I'm working with Josh right now. They made recommendations to me. You know, I will have more data about outsourcing and all this stuff in the future, but right now I don't have much data to give you on that. So it's in-house. You know, I went through a hiccup on the road where I lost my right-hand man that used to handle the majority of the SEO, and that had to jump in, and that's part of the business world, right? So trying to get him replaced and that whole thing, just, you know, it's a real struggle, because that makes you realize that you're the bottleneck, and having people like Josh guide you, it's a time saver. That is a shortcut. So does that answer the question, Josh?
Yeah, that's the reality of the situation. You're figuring it out, right? You're trying to build the systems and put the team and figure out what the best direction is. So I think that's great. Let me go here. I'm going to see what questions we have, and guys, put them in. Scott just wants to know if you have a term on your packages with your clients, like term commitment, like how long they have to stay.
Minimum of 6 months. Minimum of 6 months. Okay. And that's why I tell them, but it's a non-binding agreement. They can exit out at any point in time, but I'm looking to build that out as I move along. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see here. Chris mentioned spears. That sounds like you're sending some spear emails. Simple, personal, expecting a response.
Super.
Howard says, Lead Kahuna is good for scraping the list. Absolutely.
Lead Kahuna is very good. It's very good. That one is probably going to be about 60% accurate. You know, that's from my experience. It's when you start doing this at scale And definitely, I see someone mention getting assistant. Yes, one of my VAs does that. Like, I just sent her the whole thing, and she's got to clean up and do all the stuff and help me manage all the other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because Ray's saying, like, right now in this place where you're at, he's suggesting get an assistant, like account manager, to help with the account management piece. And with
that will be one of the next phases. Although, you know what, Josh, I want to get a sales army, because I know sales is a cure, but those are the things that I personally work with Josh on. Like, he gives me his personal time, and that is invaluable. Like, I just don't get it how people don't take advantage. Like, you guys should be taking advantage of this. When in the world did someone give you their personal time and attention so you can improve your personal business, right? This is not a program where they get you in and you're going to get into a mastermind. When it's a webinar with 1,000 people, you never get your question answered. This is like nothing else I've been in. So I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
It's my experience. Yeah.
Okay. So there's another one is Scott says, how much of your personal time does the initial preparation take for fulfillment of a new full service client when they come on board?
Well, right now, personal time in launch, between 2 to 4 hours of my personal time, just to check in and make sure that the launch, like, okay, we got all the right information. Okay, let me double check on the keywords and how you're going to structure the site. Okay, this is, everything is put together and stuff like that. Now, I spend more time than that, but that's what's required of me at max, 2 to 4 hours, depending on the client.
Good deal. So we're coming to the full hour. I think there's been great questions, Danny. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for your generosity, your willingness to share. It's not every day someone that's had some success like this is willing to say, okay, here's exactly what I did. Here's exactly how I did it. These are the struggles that I came up against. And this is where I'm at today. In closing, what final words would you have for that digital marketing agency owner that's trying to get to the next level and, just kind of stuck? What would you share with those guys and gals?
Right. You have to discover yourself and where you're at in your journey. Because, I can't compare myself to where Josh began, or can't compare myself to where anyone here began, and vice versa, because you're in your own path. However, there are things that need to happen in order for you to find success. And thankfully, we're in the best place on the planet to be able to do that. And that's it. Get clear. Like, that's the number one step. You're not clear. You're not getting any results, any traction. Get clear. Now, once you're clear, get focused. Now, once you focus, execute. Execute like a madman. Execute like seriously. I take those things like to heart. Like, like this is it. If I don't make it happen, that's it. I'm done. And even right now, like the way I woke up today, I'm like fired up. But anyways, get clear, get focused, execute. And then right now I'm at the point where I need to build a real team, and then, build that machine that's going to help me go from a V4 to a V8. That's the transition I'm going towards. That would be my best recommendation. Know where you're at, like know where you're starting, get some realistic goals for yourself. And if you've never done sales, you're in the best group in the planet. I've shared all my sales scripts, which, by the way, guys, just to clarify, the sales scripts aren't verbatim, like exactly like if you don't say this word, it's not going to close the sale. You have to understand that it's like Grant Cardone said on the video I posted, there's like 70% of people are not going to be closing. You're going to present to 100 people. And I think you would agree, Josh, you've been doing this for some time. You will get on 100 calls. And for as much as you want to weed these people out, some of them are not going to be a good fit for you.
Absolutely.
Others are going to be able to want to work with you, but you don't feel right. You just turn them away. So that sounds about right to me, So it's like, get some realistic expectations about what you're going to be getting into, and then be willing to pay the price. The price that you got to pay in comparison. I've cleaned floors. I've cut bagels. I've done deliveries. I worked in McDonald's, and I remember watching the guy driving in with the Corvette every Thursday to sign the checks. And I said, you know what? One day I'm going to make it. Now I'm finally seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. That's it.
Awesome. Get clear about what you want. Get clear about the price you're going to have to make in order to get there, and then get to work paying the price. I think that's a great way to close.
Don't
Danny,
complicate it. I would say one thing, Josh. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, absolutely.
Don't complicate it. Do not complicate it. If you're asking questions before you implement, you're building problems before they come. You know, that's, and Ray Dalio, a good book. Watch out, guys. Right here. Principles, Ray Dalio, billionaire, one of the best investors in the world. It says right here, you guys got to learn by making mistakes and then learning how to best, work within your mistakes. That's just going to happen. But get to implementation first before you start building problems and asking questions that are just theories, and you're building out this whole thing in your head, when in reality, when you face the world and you're out there doing it, it's a different thing than, it's 360, right? Mm-hmm. For planning. I know from experience, because I tried it, I've done it, and I tell you that. And learn, it's better to learn from doing it. Yeah, that's it.
No doubt. A great another nugget to end on, right? Just the enemy of execution is perfection. So don't try and be perfect. Don't overcomplicate it. Get clear on your niche. Start getting the cold emails and stuff out there. Start building your authority and getting some clients, and just keep pressing forward. Keep pressing forward. So we'll wrap up there. Danny, thank you so much for sharing. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations on your success. I
thank you.
Definitely will be doing another interview like this with you 12 months from now or less, and can't wait to see where you're at. Yes. Guys, as you're watching this, if you're watching this in the group, or are you watching it on Facebook after the fact, be sure to tag Danny and say thank you and congratulate him. Sometimes you put yourself out in these interviews and you expect to get more response than you do. And this has been awesome. Make sure that he feels the love. Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great weekend.